My name is Peter Gantner, and I am your host for this evening of going through the presentation, but I'm also a serial entrepreneur. I can tell you guys, I love every aspect of business, the good, the bad, and I have always done that from being, in the sixth grade, right? I've always loved business, and we've had success in doing that. We've been in Forbes Magazine, Wall Street Journal. We've had some successful brands in stores like Target. At one point had one of our products in over 60 million Happy Meals in the US and Canada. So we've had success with branding and marketing. But also, quite a few years ago, we were exposed to the home-based business industry. And we had some success in that industry, built some teams and stuff. But, kind of left that with a love-hate relationship where we loved some aspects of it and didn't like other ones. And so this is where the idea, the concept for kulaBrands came from. When I came up with that concept, I wanted to come up with something that would embrace what I love, which is business, but also change some of the things that I really didn't like about the home-based business industry. The main one being the fact that the only way in most businesses to make any money, to build any type of substantial income, is that you have to be a good recruiter. You have to go out and become this professional recruiter. And most people just aren't comfortable with it, for whatever reason that may be. And there's a lot of reasons why. So when I sat down, and it was actually on a plane flight, to come up with the concept for kulaBrands, I wanted to figure out a way where everybody, 100% of the people that were involved, could make more money than they were spending. That's kind of a novel concept, right, in that industry. And so when the whole concept was put together, I landed at the airport, and I called Doug right away. It was the first person I called. And I shared with him, I said, Doug, I think I reinvented the home-based business industry. I've invented an opportunity where 100% of the people can actually make money. And I shared it with him. And he went, wow, I've never heard of anything like that. It's definitely unique. We said we'd talk the next day. We talked the next day. And I said, look, do you want to do this with me? He says, absolutely. And so we started working on it and putting it together. But when we were done putting it completely together, we realized one thing. This was absolutely unique. We had never seen anything like it. So we kept it under wraps for a little while. A few months later, we started to share it with a group of about 12 people. None of them had seen anything like it either. And then we shared it with hundreds more, and none of them have seen it. Well, because we hadn't seen it, we couldn't find anything like it, we filed for a patent on this. So currently, it's in a provisional patent pending business model. And now that we've had over 4,000 or 5,000 people take a look at this in over 30 countries around the world, there is one thing. No one has seen anything like it, and that really goes well for getting a patent issued. What we're filing the patent on is what's called a reverse royalty through community participation. So what is that? Well, first of all, before we get into what a reverse royalty is, let's look at what a traditional royalty is. Royalties have been used for a long time. Not a lot of people get royalties, but in my opinion, it is absolutely one of the best ways to earn a living if you can get to that point. And it's been reserved for the very few, the super talented people up to this point. So a royalty is a payment made by one party to another that owns a particular asset for the right of ongoing use of that asset. Royalties are typically agreed upon as a percentage of gross or net sales. I want to show you a couple of examples of some people who are earning royalties and what type of people these are. Michael Jackson's revenue from royalties of $52 million just in the last 5 years since he's passed away, right? So the key element of a royalty is you do the work once, and then you can continue to get paid on those efforts over and over and over again. Elvis Presley has been gone now for 38 years, and his estate is still collecting royalties for activity that he did while he was still here. That is truly phenomenal income. Think about the thought process of putting yourself in a position where you can earn royalties for the long, for work you do today, earn royalties 10, 15, 20, 30 years down the road. And that's what we're going to talk about here today. Even major corporations like Coca-Cola, they have a licensing deal or a royalty deal with Ohio State for $32 million. So major businesses use royalty deals. Actors, talented people, inventors get paid royalties on projects that they do. So if that's what a royalty is, what's a reverse royalty? A reverse royalty is paid by the actor, the inventor, or owner of the asset for services rendered by kulaBrands. So instead of them receiving it, they actually pay it. Now, why would they do that? Well, normally when you receive a royalty is when? After you've already been successful. But the key element there is it's after. It takes a while to build that up. You know, there's a pathway that they need to figure out is how do I get to be that successful where somebody is willing to pay me royalties for the next 10, 15, 20, 30 years, right? In a traditional sense. Well, kulaBrands is changing the model. Remember, just a few seconds ago, I said very few people make their living through royalties, make enough money to make a living doing that. We're switching that around. We're actually making royalties available to the mass, meaning large numbers of people. And this is how we're doing it. kulaBrands community supports the actor, the inventor, owner with their social actions, as you will see. In the last few years, the development, last 10, 15 years, the development of technology. 7 years ago, did you have an entire movie studio, film studio, video camera in your pocket, a computer in your pocket, access to technology 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? Not too long ago, I was flying down the highway 80 miles an hour. My son was sitting next to me playing a video game online with his friends, right? And these people are all over the United States and possibly all over the world. That's the technology. And so what has happened with this technology and the upgrowth of social media, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, all these different ways is that your social influence is rising in value. Okay, so and I don't care who you are on here. If you're online, your social influence is rising in value. The difference is this: most people are not getting the value from their social media. Someone else is getting that value, a marketing company, a branding company. What we're doing with kulaBrands is we're saying, let's use that technology and our business model so you can benefit from the value of your own social influence. Let's look at some of this stuff and we'll start going through this. So in order for someone like an Elvis or that to become successful, an inventor, creative person, there are 3 things that are absolutely necessary for them to have, for them to get to a point where they're able to earn royalties, to have enough success. The first is money. They've got to have the capital, the cash flow to make it happen. The second is branding and marketing, the ability to get the message out there for people to know that their project exists or that they exist. And the third is sales, the revenue that's going to be generated from that process, okay? So what we're going to do, guys, is we are going to use the new technology, these smartphones, these social networks, to help provide to the inventor all 3 of these aspects that they need. And for that is the process of us getting a reverse royalty. So have been around a long time, typical old-fashioned options to doing money, branding and marketing, and sales. Our model is actually going to flip that on its head. And I'm going to show you, we're going to go through each one of these, and we're going to talk about how we are using the technology that exists and this new business model that we've created to where you can benefit from helping inventors do each of these 3 things. So first, let's look at money. So the traditional options for getting money have been go to the bank and borrow it. Very, very low success rate for startups, okay, for new businesses. You go raise money from angel investors. However, the statistics show that less than 1% of projects that go out to raise money as a startup end up ever getting any capital. And that's from either angel investors or VCs, which are professional investment companies. So less than 1% actually raise any money. The number one way that most people have financed their projects have been through debt. Charging their credit card, spending their savings, borrowing against assets that they have, selling those assets, or working a job 9 to 5, and then putting every extra dollar they have towards getting their project to the marketplace. Well, there is actually a 4th option, which is utilizing the technology that we talked about. It's utilizing the social, this new social energy that's being created through this technology. So as a kulaBrands community, this method is called reward-based crowdfunding. Now, some of you may have already heard of this because there are literally tens of millions of people that are participating with reward-based crowdfunding. These are sites like Kickstarter, Indiegogo, and there's many, many more sites like that. But for the people that don't know what reward-based crowdfunding is, I'll actually just explain that here on the next slide. But as a kulaBrands community member, we have figured out a way for you not only to participate in reward-based crowdfunding, but actually make money by supporting projects with reward-based crowdfunding. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that. So what is reward-based crowdfunding for the people that don't know? It's simple. I come up with an idea, and instead of going to the bank or trying to, empty my savings account or, go to a VC and show them my project and say, please, Mr. Wealthy Guy, put some money in my deal, I simply share my idea with a large group of people that have already said, hey, I'm willing to help and support entrepreneurs. And the way they do it is not by investing in the project, but by simply pre-purchasing that project, that idea, that concept, that product, okay? And the way this is done is, let's say I need $30,000 to get a project going, okay? That's my tooling, the development work. So I would go to a crowdfunding platform and I would actually ask for maybe $50,000, right? Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, let's say my idea is that what I'm going to sell, it's a product, and it would cost $50, right? Maybe $60 at the store normally. I'm going to sell it for $50 though. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to post it on one of these platforms, and I'm going to get, if I needed $50,000, I get 1,000 people to pay for the product now. And then I make their product, and then I deliver it to them later on. So it is simply getting people to say, hey, I want that product. And so when I collect the $50 from 1,000 people, I now have the $50,000 in funds to pay the platform, to do my $30,000 in development work, make enough product to ship it to all these people that help get it funded. That is what's called reward-based crowdfunding. So even though it's the best option of the four, or the other three that are there, the best option of the four, it still has a few issues with it. And that is that 65% of all projects that go on the #1 crowdfunding site actually fail to fund, meaning they raise no money whatsoever. Okay? Of the 35% that do fund, 85% of those raise less than $20,000. Now, if you're sitting there, you might go, wow, $20,000 is a lot. Most of them, though, raise $1,000, $2,000, $4,000, $5,000. But let's say they raise the $20,000. Think about it. You have to develop your product. You have to pay for the percentage that goes to the crowdfunding campaign, all the credit card fees, shipping the product out to them. So literally, you have very little, if any, money left whatsoever to take your project and turn it from a crowdfunding success into a market success. So why is it that such a small percentage of projects either fail to fund or do not raise enough capital to take their project to the next level? It's really simple. They don't have enough social capital, right? Building a community before you start is the most powerful key to crowdfunding success. You must bring the initial audience with you to the crowdfunding platform, and that essentially attracts the other people to it. And so kulaBrands is doing exactly that. We're building a crowd, a community of like-minded people that want to support entrepreneurs in 3 ways. So right now we're talking about the financial way, right? The reward-based crowdfunding. And so what happens is when our community comes and supports that project, and I'm actually going to talk about our first project now. Very exciting. We launched a product called Zip and Store. A gentleman by the name of Len Kenzie came up with a concept to help organize plastic bags. So help get product into those bags easier and then organize them once you have it in it. Because I don't think a lot of people realize how many plastic bags they have in their refrigerator. And so instead of going directly to Kickstarter, which more than likely he would have never succeeded going there directly by himself, he first brought the product to kulaBrands. kulaBrands looked at it. We said, you know what? This has potential. We shared it with our community. And what our community did is they looked at the project and they said, you know what? when you go to Kickstarter, when you go to Indiegogo, whichever platform was chosen, which he chose Kickstarter, I am willing to pledge on this project for sure, absolutely. And so we took the amount of money that Len needed, and we actually came up with our community pledged, what we call a pre-pledge, actually more than what was necessary. When Zip and Store was put up on the crowdfunding platform, it actually funded in 20 minutes. So 20 minutes after it went up there, it funded. That grabbed a lot of attention of a lot of people, not just people on Kickstarter, but bloggers and other people out in the marketplace. This ended up with a tremendous result. Our community, the kulaBrands community, ended up pledging somewhere around 40 something, 48, 49, $50,000 on the project. However, the project ended up raising over $152,000. This, because we were like the magnet to get it started, the social proof that this was a good product, that this was interesting. It was like a magnet. We ended up raising 3 times the money more than what our community was able to do by leveraging the community that was on that platform. This gave Len additional capital to get Zip and Store going. So what has Len said? Len has said, look, kulaBrands, if you guys help me do this, you help me become successful, you help me get my product out there, you help me get this, have a success on Kickstarter, what I'm willing to do is pay you a royalty for the life of the product anytime and anywhere a Zip and Store unit sells anywhere in the world. And so that's the first reason why we earn a royalty that we've negotiated with Len. Now, remember, we said there were 3 things that Len needs to be successful, right? The second is branding and marketing, okay? Now, because of the technology we talked about earlier, your social influence is worth more money than ever before. So as a kulaBrands community member, we're actually going to let you leverage that social influence that you have in order to build a residual lifelong income. And we're going to jump into how that works. So before we jump into that, what is branding and marketing? Product branding, simply put, is how a product interacts with its consumer through design, logo, and messaging. And marketing is actually how that message, that this brand gets out there, right? So it's a commercial on TV, a magazine ad, maybe an ad on the internet. Have you guys ever clicked on an ad on Facebook or maybe somewhere else and purchased an item, right? That's the marketing side of things. So traditional branding and marketing, there's one thing that most of it has in common, and it is the majority of it. When you go to advertise or market, you first commit to spending the money, then you create the message, and whether it's offline or online, you share that message, and if it gets your results, great, you get a return on your investment, the money that you spent to do it. If you don't get results, you basically threw that money away, and you didn't get any value from it. We know by our experience in the marketplace that there's actually a better way to do that, and that is to pay for the results that happen, meaning through a royalty basis and through our community, through the social influence that has all this value that every one of us has right now. The community does the social branding and marketing for the product. And again, where are these royalties paid from? They are paid from the sales anywhere in the world. Anytime something sells, these royalties are paid to us. And so what happens is the company is generating money and then paying out of it instead of spending money to try to generate money. So a very important distinction. So now the third thing, right? So that's the second thing. The third thing is selling, okay? The sales of the product. Well, we use what's called social selling. As a kulaBrands community member, you can actually make money by helping do social selling. So let's jump into that, okay? Social selling with kulaBrands. First thing that we do is we help the inventor preserve capital. How do we do that? Normally, when you first have a product, you have to now go build a sales organization. You have to make samples and get them out to them. You have to create sales sheets. You have to do all this work, again, spending money. And in the early days of most companies' inventions, money is a premium, right? You want to try to preserve as much as possible. What we do, our community increases income through his sales at a time when sales are historically slow. So that's when you first launch your company. See, we use what's called the direct sales method, selling products to friends and family members, usually through posting on internets. Here's my link. Hey, check out this product. Man, I love this product. Create a YouTube video. All kinds of different things that you can do to do this social selling. We call this kulaBrands selling. It brings revenue, cash flow into the business in the very early days, which then allows the company to get big enough to eventually bring on that sales organization and have the funds necessary to go out and sell into the mass market. We're actually going to provide you with a powerful direct sales portal, affiliate commissions on every sale that you do, plus the residual income through a point system, which we're going to explain, and through the pools that we have available for you to earn. But ultimately, guys, the direct sales market worldwide right now is about a $300 billion plus industry. That's huge. That means every day in the world, there are literally tens of millions of dollars, actually about $1 billion a year being sold, right? It's 300 billion, 365 a year, about $1 billion a year in direct sales being done. However, there is a better sales channel than that, and that is the traditional retail marketplace, right? Which is estimated to be over $26 trillion a year worldwide. Okay, so what we do is, instead of being in a $300 billion industry, which is huge in itself, we utilize that $300 billion industry to take the products and get them into the $26 trillion traditional retail marketplace, okay? And that is Walmart, online and offline, Target, Amazon, these other distribution channels which exist and will always exist in the world. And not just here in the United States, but on a global basis. So, you know, again, it is a tremendous opportunity, and we help get these products into that marketplace. And that's the third reason why we receive a reverse royalty. You can see the value that we provide to these inventors. So quick recap. We're going to help them get the money that's necessary to get the tooling done and get the project into the marketplace. We're going to help them get the initial message out there, the branding and marketing. And how effective have we been? Our first product, Zip & Store, has been seen by tens of millions of people already, and the product isn't even in the marketplace yet. And the third thing is the social selling, keeping that capital coming into the company, you know, throughout the entire process. So now let's jump into the most important thing is, how do you, as a kulaBrands member, actually make money? When a kulaBrands community member helps fund, brand, market, and sell a product, they get points in royalty pools that pay them a reverse royalty. So we actually have 3 pools that are available for you to participate in to earn these points in. The first pool is called the Founders Pool. The second is the Branding and Marketing Pool, and the third is the Sales Pool, okay? So you have the ability through kulaBrands to participate in any one of those 3 pools that you want, all 3 of those pools on each and every product that comes out through the kulaBrands method, okay? So what I want to do right now is I actually want to go through a hypothetical example of how these pools operate, how you participate in them, and how you can earn money, okay? So we're going to use Zip & Store as our hypothetical example. Now, we've already crowdfunded Zip & Store, and we actually did very well. We said we raised $152,000. So we're going to say that we've gone through all 3 processes already with Zip & Store. So we did the crowdfunding, we did the branding and marketing, we did the sales, and now Zip & Store is being carried by hundreds of retailers around the world, right? Very successful product. And from the results that we're getting from talking to different people, and the sales results and the excitement about this project. And by the way, I'm using this product. I have a prototype of one in my house. It is an amazing product. We're getting so much value out of it. I cannot wait to get thousands of these out in the marketplace, because once people realize how valuable this is to them, this will literally become a $50, $100 million a year brand. And that's what we're looking at right now. So we're going to say that hypothetically, we've progressed through here and we're at that point. So the reverse royalty payout share for Zip & Store is $1 million in the Founders Pool, okay? In this hypothetical example. The total number of points generated, 2,750 points, okay? So that would mean that the quantity of points that were issued to the people that participated in the crowdfunding part of Zip and Store, okay? We're going to say that you were one of the people who said, hey, I want a Zip and Store when it was in the crowdfunding phase. So you went, you pledged, pre-pledged on our site, went to Kickstarter and pledged, and now you've earned 1 point, okay, in this pool. And remember, the royalties have grown to be $1 million during this royalty period. $1 million divided by 2,750 points equals $363.63 a point. So that means the 1 point you've earned for supporting it through reward-based crowdfunding in this example would pay you $363.63. But this is during this royalty period. See, that point right there is permanent, meaning you will always have that point. So the next royalty period, you get paid again on it, depending on how much the royalties are. The next royalty period, again and again and again, every single royalty period, as long as that product continues to sell for the life of the product. Okay? Now let's look at the social branding and marketing. So since you got it in reward-based crowdfunding and you loved it, right? Just like I have. I mean, we're using this thing in our house. We're like snapping pictures and stuff, right? It's exciting to have it here. I've got to show you guys the pictures of my wife actually mounted one to the counter. Doug did it for her. And we're actually putting our chip bags in there. So we used to have to put a clip on the top of them to hold them shut. And now all we do is fold over the bag and slide it through the slot. It keeps the chips fresh and it holds them up off the counter. So instead of being all over the counter, sitting there, you know, getting stale, they're actually hanging on a Zip and Store. I will show you guys, if you're on Thursday's night call tomorrow night, we're going to post a picture of that and show you guys that in action because it's absolutely beautiful. But let's get back to this, branding and marketing. So you're excited, you start sharing, right? You take some pictures of your Zip and Store, you share them online, you go comment on other people's stuff, you did some videos, you did all kinds of branding and marketing stuff, sharing through your social influence, actually now making money off of that social influence that you have. $1 million in this royalty pool as well. You will find that each of the three pools will always have an equal amount of money in them. And we're going to explain to you why that is a little bit later in the presentation. But this pool has over 35,000 points in it. So more people participated, maybe people earn more points in it. As a matter of fact, you were somebody who got pretty active and you ended up earning 35 points in the branding and marketing pool. So if you take the 1 million and divide it by 35,000 points, it's $28.57 a point times your 35 points would give you $999.95 during this royalty period. Remember, these are permanent points, all 35 of these. So every time that royalty is paid, you continue to get paid out of those royalty pools for the life of the product. The third pool, sales pool, okay? Very similar to the other pools, right? $1 million in that pool. There is another enhancement to this, and that is that when you make a sale, not only will you collect the royalties depending on how you are in the pool, you're actually going to collect an affiliate commission upon that sale, which is going to go directly to you. And then also you've earned points in that pool. So we're going to say that the sales pool for Zip and Store ends up with 15,000 points in. Very important, guys. These 15,000 points would represent probably somewhere between $500,000 and $900,000 in actual Zip and Store sales. That kept what? Cash flow coming into the company. So Len was able to get more products developed, get his sales force put together, go get the product into Target, in the Container Store, and all these other places, Amazon online, and then get the project selling, right, at that point. So it kept that cash flow coming in. We're going to say that you sold enough units for 8 points. And you know what you need to do to sell a Zip and Store unit, and I'm serious, is simply invite some friends over to the house, have them stand around in your kitchen, open up your kitchen and pull out the Zip and Store, and everybody there is going to go, what the heck is that? That's amazing. And sure enough, some of those people are going to say, where do I get one of these? How do I get one? Well, here, you can order it on my site, right? So 1 million divided by the 15,000 points equals $66.60 a point times the 8 points, $532.80 during this royalty period. Remember, those 8 points are permanent, and you'll continue to get paid each and every royalty period after that. So let's do a quick review, okay? You got $363 in the founders pool, $999.95 in the branding and marketing pool, and in the sales pool, $532 plus your affiliate commissions. That's a total of $1,894.95. Let's say that was for a whole year. That would be tremendous, right? An extra $1,800 a year coming in, okay? Let's cut that in half. Let's say it was only half of that. An extra $900 to $1,000 a year coming in, right? Would it be $950 a year coming in year after year? How do you make more money? Simply help support more projects, right? Imagine doing 10 projects like that, or 20 or 30 projects, how that could add up to thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars a year coming in, okay? And you can do as many projects as you want as we roll them out. It's our goal to roll out 1,000 products over the next 5 to 10 years through this process. There's also a second way that you can actually increase your income if you want to. This is not necessary, but this is something that is an option for the people that want to do this. And that is to help us grow the community, right? Our goal is to get to, 10,000 plus community members at least. And we are in the process of doing that. So let's say you decided, you know what, I want to support projects, I want to be a part of it, but I also want to share this with some people. I think it's an incredible opportunity, and I want to share this with some friends. Let's say that you share it with 20 friends, right? Out of those 20, only two say, you know what, I want to do this with you. This is phenomenal. I want to be the, early adopter on these products. I want to help an entrepreneur succeed. I want to be part of a successful project in the marketplace. And then let's say that out of the two of those, maybe one brought in 4, or one brought in 3, one brought in 1, or they brought in 2 each, that those 2 simply brought in 4 other community members. These are the 2 you brought in are your direct influence. The 4 that came in from them are your indirect influence, a total of 6 community members. The coolest thing, and that's different about us than any other opportunity that I know about there, is that the 4 secondary community members, so the indirect influence people, if they did exactly, we're going to say hypothetically, they did exactly what you did on Zip and Store. They got 1 point in the founders pool, 1 point in the brand, or 35 points in the branding and marketing pool, and 8 points in the sales pool. All 4 people did exactly that. Guess what? If the numbers were the same, they would make over $1,800 each. So that's pretty neat that 100% of those 4 people are getting paid and making $1,800 each. The next 2 that you brought in would make over $2,000, close to $3,000 each. And you, for sharing it simply with a few people that came on board, with a few people, all 6 people, those making money, you would make over $4,000 on just that one project. Imagine if you did 10 or 15 or 20 or 30 projects over the next 3, 4, 5 years. What could your income be? What is the income potential of kulaBrands? Oh, how does the money get divided up in the pools? Why were they all equal? Well, it's really simple. So the royalty on Zip and Store is 7%. So kulaBrands actually takes a percentage right off the top to run the company, provide the service, distribute the funds, negotiate the contracts, help develop these products, all that stuff. In kulaBrands' case, 80% plus of the money that's actually paid in actually goes back out to the community. So we keep less than 15% of the project actually for kulaBrands. We're actually keeping about 14.8% of that, right? All the rest of that gets paid out to the community. And the way we do that is 1/3 of it goes in the founders pool, 1/3 goes in the branding and marketing pool, and 1/3 goes into the sales pool, okay? And so that's the way it gets. That's why all pools are equal by the amount of money in there. What is different is the number of points that are in that pool, depending on the activity that's done. So let's do a quick recap. kulaBrands allows inventors to keep 100% control and equity of their creation idea, no sharks needed. Okay, so they don't have to go out and raise money. We're going to help do that through reward-based crowdfunding. Number 2 is with kulaBrands, inventors pay no out-of-pocket to members until revenue is generated. All payments come from the sale of products generated anywhere in the world. This is so key, guys. It's helping manage that early cash flow, allowing the company a much greater chance of success in the marketplace simply by managing the money better. Your pledge is not an investment. Members simply pledge by pre-ordering on a project listed with a major crowdfunding platform. Your pledge helps our inventors reach their goals, pledging goals, and helps them successfully launch their products into the worldwide sales. Again, raised over $150,000 for Len, and we're about to sell hundreds of thousands of dollars in Zip and Store and continuing to have that cash flow come in. kulaBrands software makes social sharing and marketing super easy, minimizing the amount of time it takes to create substantial income. Software allows for social sharing to multiple outlets. Guys, I've heard a lot of business opportunities, and they talk about 5-10 hours a week. What we're talking about with kulaBrands on the branding and marketing side for most people will be a couple hours a month, maybe 2, 3, 4 hours a month, putting time into there over the course of time, building residual income. So a true part-time effort to make a nice income with kulaBrands. Number 5, the power of the community and kulaBrands staff of experts makes the transition from crowdfunding success to traditional retail marketplace easier, faster, more likely, both on and offline worldwide. This is key, guys. If you go to kulaBrands' website and you actually click on a video right on the front of it, it's from Jeff Hoffman. I can tell you that I know, and Len can tell you, that the kulaBrands community is absolutely, I mean, it's making miracle things happen. It is literally creating momentum that would cost tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars to do. But if you go listen to that, Jeff, who is the co-founder of Priceline.com, is actually on there, and he talks about how great it would have been to have this community, a community like this, in place when he launched with Priceline, but also when he did his first project, which was the ticket machines. You know, print your own tickets at the airport. If you've ever used the self-printing ticket machine at an airport, that exists because of Jeff Hoffman. And he's saying right on there that, you know, it would have made it easier for him to launch that business and make that business successful. So you can go listen to that. In summary, receiving a check in the mail in the form of residual income is like no other income on the planet. Do some consistent work in the community supporting projects now and be rewarded with royalties for years to come. And there is absolutely no better residual income than royalty income, guys. It is absolutely the best income that you can earn. So what do we develop? What do you get when you become a part of kulaBrands? You're going to get a website, so a platform where you can go in and watch trainings and get the information about your business. And we've got a temporary one up right now, but we're in the process of developing a full-fledged business suite. You get a direct sales portal. This allows you to sell products to get points in the sales pool. Easy social sharing. So the software that we're developing right now for social sharing, if you went to purchase similar software, it would cost you about $15 or more per month to get software, and it doesn't do as much as the software that we're developing. So literally that software alone, if you went outside of kulaBrands, would cost you close to $200 a year just for that software alone. And this is going to allow you to earn points in the branding and marketing pool. And then we give you an evaluation system. This is our Kula funded site. This is where you go look at projects and decide whether you want to support them and get involved in that project and be part of what's called the Founders Pool right now. We're going to be changing that. It's actually going to be the Crowdfunding Influencers Pool, but that'll come here in the next couple of weeks there. And then also we're putting together a Community Bill of Rights. We believe that this will be done on January 1, we will release the Community Bill of Rights. So January 1, 2017, these will be prepared, they'll be up, and those will get posted. The community seat on the board, we are the only company that I know of that actually has a board seat set aside for an elected community member to sit on the board and be in on that. We will also be holding that election the first couple weeks of January as well, 2017. So that is coming up. The other thing that you can do being a part of kulaBrands is you can invent your own product. You can actually come up with ideas and then bring those ideas to kulaBrands. We can look at those, and then if it works out, the product can be made and developed. We submit it to the community. If the community picks on it, you can just be just like Len and have your $100,000 plus success on crowdfunding, and then have the product going into the marketplace and have kulaBrands sell hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of your product, eventually ending up on the shelves of stores all over America, all over the world, being sold online, and have a successful brand yourself. We also provide training. Right now there's some trainings already in there on Facebook, on Pinterest. We're going to have a lot more trainings coming in the first part of next year, including invention trainings, prototype trainings. We are going to get a legal training done that'll talk about patents and trademarks and all that type of stuff. So lots of trainings. So guys, all of this that we just talked about costs you a whopping $199. But not $199 a month, not $199 a year. It is a one-time $199 charge for you to be involved for the membership. And remember what I said is just the social branding software that's available would cost you a couple $100 a year. So for the cost of the social branding and marketing software, you get all this. You get access to this patent pending business model for $199. We also have an option where you can make $12, $20 a month payments. So that is also another option there that's available for people that, you know, don't actually have the capital available to do the $199 right off the bat. So that is another option that is available. So kulaBrands' goal is thousands of product types. We're not doing this for 5 or 10. We are absolutely thrilled with Zip and Store, but Zip and Store is just the beginning, guys. We are looking at projects every week. We've got some exciting ones on the horizon that you guys are going to be extremely excited about. We've got some great products that we'll be coming out with. So imagine this. These screens represent projects that you've helped support, whether it's through reward-based crowdfunding, whether it's through branding and marketing, sales, or all the above. Imagine 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, these products are selling somewhere in the world through some sales channel, and you are collecting a royalty, not on some of the sales, but on every single sale of every single product that you participated in and that you have points in those pools, guys. This is what I call true residual income. Money, mailbox money, beach money, whatever it is that you want to call, it is absolutely the best way that I know of to financial freedom in this industry, in the industry of home-based business.